Welcome back to my channel. I'm Traben. These are my tomes, and today it's 10 before the end of 2025. Yes, it is that time once a year where we are going to talk about 10 books that I'd like to read before the close of 2025. We'll start with my current read and go through my immediate TBR and then some things that I'm hoping to do down the line. This is not going to be an extensive list because I do also plan on hopefully doing some mystery reading for Christmas like I did last year. But these are the priority reads. This is the wish list for closing out 2025 with a bang, and we're going to start with Isles of Emberdark by Brandon Sanderson. This is my current read. I'm about 100 pages in at this point. I think this is about a 500-page book. I'm digging it so far. I like the adventure aspect of this. I think it's a really interesting world, and the powers in this world being centered around the companionship with animals is just something really neat and hasn't been done in the Cosmere before. So this is a Cosmere book. I've heard some complaints that this one is going to be rough on people who are not familiar with the greater workings of the Cosmere and the other things that are going on in this shared universe. So it's not a good jumping on point. But I think for someone who is familiar with the Cosmere and with the different concepts uniting these different planets and the magic systems, the history of what has been going on, this offers a very interesting glimpse into the future of that shared universe, because we are definitely at a point beyond Mistborn Era 2. We are squarely into a more futuristic setting, but we're on a more technologically primitive planet that is still dealing with like infiltrating the wilds, having very basic weapons and very basic transportation, and trying to exist in a world alongside of like interstellar ships, which is absolutely crazy. I think it is a very cool balance of that adventure story and that sci-fi element, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So that's my current read, and that is one that I'll definitely get done. Hopefully before the end of the week, but definitely before the end of 2025. Next up on the docket, and continuing the fantasy feel and the sequel feel, is Brigands and Bread Knives. This is the third book set in Travis Baldry's collective world that started with Legends and Lattes. And then we have the prequel book, Bookshops and Bone Dust, and now we have kind of an offshoot with Brigands and Bread Knives, where I think one of the characters, I believe this mouse person, is the proprietor of the bookstore in the second book, but this is about a kind of a separate adventure. Now, Travis Baldry, as I mentioned in other videos, has said that this is going to be less of a cozy fantasy book, but I'm still hoping to get some of those vibes from him. And even if he's telling a traditional action D&D-esque adventure story, I think I can still dig it. There were parts of Legends and Lattes that hinted at that, especially like very early in the book before we have our main character going into retirement and opening up the coffee shop. We had a big fight described, her last like hurrah, and I feel like if this is dealing with some more of those action set pieces, I'm here for it, and I'm interested in seeing kind of a different flavor from this author that I've followed for so long. After that, I plan on picking up We Are Legion, We Are Bob, which is the first book in the Bobverse. I picked up this really cool new edition with the sprayed edges. I'm really excited about it. I started the audiobook of this, but it was an AI audiobook version, which was really annoying to listen to, and I dropped it about an hour in. So I'm going to start over from the beginning. This is the story of Bob, who very early on in the book dies, has donated his body to science essentially, and has been revived as a machine, or a machine mind. So a mind in a machine. And I think as the story goes on, there are more Bobs. He ends up being like spread out across an entire star system by the end of this series. Sounds completely absurd, sounds really funny. It's also one of my 10 new fantasy series to check out in 2025. I'm not doing as good of a job on that challenge as I am on the 25 for 2025. Brigands and Bread Knives is the last book in my 25 for 2025. This will be, I believe, my 7th book for the 10 fantasy series to check out this year. And so I definitely want to get into it and definitely want to get this read. After that, it's going to be Kings of the Wild. Again, this is one of the 10 fantasy series that I wanted to check out in 2025. I can't find it anywhere. The audiobook takes forever to be on loan. And so I think this is one that I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and order. But that would be my next priority because, again, it's another one of these series that I really wanted to check out. And I think of the remaining series, this is the one that I'm most excited for and will get me to 8 out of 10, which I think is respectable. Kings of the Wild, as far as I understand, is like a band of misfits coming together to do like one final job, or they're ex-soldiers that are having to come back together after a hiatus, and it just sounded like a really fun series and one that I really want to take a look at. So that will be the next one after Bob Verse. Now we are into books that I just want to check out because they sound cool. I'm going to start with Of Monsters and Mainframes, which is the next binderly book from Easy Cat Press that I have not taken a look at yet. Many of you probably know Jason. He's a very prominent YouTuber, and I think he's on Instagram quite often. And he has his own imprint under binderly that largely focuses, or was meant to initially focus on found family type of stories. Monsters and Mainframes sounds absolutely wild. It is about a sentient ship that's being attacked by Dracula, and so has to like cobble this crew together out of, I think, monsters and fight against Dracula, and that just sounds wild. They're in space, of course, and so it just sounds completely crazy and great, and I'm super excited about it because it's such a ridiculous concept. I am wanting to order this one, so I haven't gotten a copy of it yet, but it is on sale right now, so I'm going to snag my copy soon, and that would be the next one down the line that I would be wanting to read. Coming out in December, we have Tailored Realities from Brandon Sanderson. So this is a short story collection that I believe is mostly sci-fi focused. I don't know much more about it than that. I'm picking it up mostly because of Sanderson's reputation. I like Sanderson's books. I read a lot of his work. And also because I need a little bit more of some short fiction and short story collections. I've not read too many of those this year, and one of my goals for 2025 was kind of branching out from my usual reads of sci-fi fantasy horror novels into shorter fiction and into nonfiction. So it's another one that I want to grab as it comes out. I believe that is a December release, so I'm waiting for that and very excited to jump into a short story collection. Last book on the list is Hollow Kingdom. You'll notice that this one also has a bookmark in it because my wife is reading it currently. And from what she's told me, it sounds like a lot of fun. This is the story of a zombie apocalypse as told through the eyes of a crow and his companion. What's his companion?
A domesticated crow. His companion is a dog.
Domesticated crow.
That's important because he likes humans.
Okay, that's fair.
He knows human things.
That's fair. A domesticated crow and his dog companion. What she's told me of it sounds like a lot of fun, and it has those autumn vibes, spooky autumn vibes that you want. So this is one that I would like to pick up and read before the end of the year. So we'll see how it goes. And that brings us to the manga titles for the rest of the year, starting with Tokyo Fears Rhapsody Volume 2. Tokyo Fears Rhapsody is a title that I talked about on my books to read because Super Sentai is ending. This is a manga that follows a monster created by this doctor right here. And he was set up upon the world in order to destroy humanity, but actually comes to find that he loves humanity. He loves ice cream and cute things and water parks and all that kind of stuff. So he is now a defender of humanity. He fights the other monsters. He loves the Super Sentai-esque team that has been put together to try to stop him, even though they're completely inept, because they're heroes and they're cool, and he's very much into that. He has a human disguise. It's very silly. It's very tongue-in-cheek. I hope it keeps the comedy aspect of it, because Volume 1 was really hilarious. There's a whole back and forth between him and the doctor where he's like, "Dad, don't come into my apartment. I'm supposed to be independent." And it's this whole like father-son thing where he's just like this petulant child. It's so funny. So Volume 2 is out. I had picked it up, I think, yesterday, and I'm very excited to get into it. So that's one of the manga series that I would like to continue reading. Got Volume 2. We'll get to it soon. I have Akane Banashi Volume 14, which continues Akane's ascent in the world of Rakugo, where she is now in contention for getting the next rank up in this it's not competitive storytelling, but there's a ranking system to it. So she wants to become the best of these storytellers, become one of the like titled people, and so she is working her way to that within this volume, and it has been really fun to see all the different aspects they draw out of Rakugo. The back matter in the volumes that have the explanations about Rakugo tournaments and the different levels, the different styles of story, all the different characters that have their own unique flavor, their own unique advantage in telling a story and delivering it, and seeing Akane grow and really have to think about what is her unique style, what's her thing beyond just what she began as, which she was very good at mimicking what she saw her father do. She idolized her father, and so now she's at the point where she's really working on becoming independent and developing her own style. It's very cool. The last couple of volumes, or at least the last volume, focused on a completely separate character and was no less captivating for it. So I really like the world this is set up. I like all the characters, and I like the deep dive into this art form that I would have otherwise been completely ignorant of, which is super cool. If you've not checked out Akane Banashi, I encourage you to go pick up Volume 1, take a look at it. It's a lot of fun. It's about public performance storytelling, so that should be something, if you are an avid reader, that you should be super into. So give it a shot. Check it out. And then finally, I have Volume 1 of Kaiju Kamui, which I picked up because it had kaiju in the title, and I read the back, and it sounded cool. It seems like kind of an Evangelion-esque thing where we have kaiju attacking us. The only way to fight a bad kaiju is with a good kaiju that we pilot, like a mecha. So it sounds very Evangelion-esque. I imagine this is going to drop very quickly into the action shonen beats in the same vein as Kaiju number 8 eventually became. This does not seem like it's going to start off silly with like jokes and funny bits and gradually become something different. This looks like it's just going to drop straight into the serious kaiju fighting action, which I'm excited for. I've got a number of kaiju titles over the last couple of years, and they're all telling a little bit different aspect of the kaiju story, and I really appreciate that there's so many lenses that you can explore this very niche genre from. But sometimes you just want to see kaiju fight each other and smack each other's faces, and that seems what this is promising. So I'm up for it. This is my last one. It's my 10th book for 10 Before the End. So that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for dropping by and listening to me ramble about 10 books that I'm excited about. Let me know down in the comments, what are you reading right now? What do you plan on reading before the end of the year? Do you plan out a 10 before the end? And have you taken place in any challenges in 2025? A lot of the books that I'm prioritizing now are because I had the 25 for 2025 challenge, or 10 new books I wanted to look at. Is there anything that you set out to do in 2025 that you're gonna really buckle down and prioritize in these last few months. Again, let me know down in the comments below. Start a conversation. Love to hear from everybody. As always, please like and subscribe. It really helps us grow this corner of our booktube community. And until the next one, take care. She's not too far into it. Where is she at? She's at page 26. But what she's told me of it...
Don't tell